The movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
Hey, Coach Pittman, you got something to say?
Yeah, I do.
Go Hogs! Yes, sir!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
It is my pleasure to offer you the opportunity to be the head football coach at the University of Arkansas.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Woo Pig Suey.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
And there it is. There it is. The new coach is announced. You knew it would happen sometime over the weekend, but I'm not sure if you thought you knew who it was really going to be. What a crazy 4 weeks it's been. And really the last week was nuts. The weekend was even nutsier. And we finally have a conclusion to Coaching Search 2019, and lots to react to. Phil Elson here along with Ty Richardson. We will be getting to your calls and texts all throughout the show. We've cleared the show. We're not doing any of that guest stuff today. We're not doing any of that, other fun things we might do every once in a while, because it's going to be fun talking about Sam Pittman as the upcoming head coach at Arkansas football. And look, there were a couple of other names that were thrown around over the weekend that I think this is probably a better hire than for the job, or at least more realistic. You heard people tossing out the possibility of Mike Gundy. Obviously, didn't happen, and a lot of folks thought that when I was at Bud Walton Arena Saturday for the women's basketball win against Kansas State, that it would end up being Barry Lunney Jr. And you end up with a coach who's got a ton of experience in areas that I think you were looking for. A ton of experience in winning, especially recently. A ton of experience in the SEC with 3 previous stops in the Southeastern Conference. A guy who makes a huge dent in recruiting no matter where it is he's been. But then there's the fly in the ointment that it's the first time he's a collegiate head coach at the Division I level, or any level that's not JUCO football. And at the age of 58 years old, it does feel like this, at least to Sam Pittman, is what his life has been leading towards, this very opportunity to not just be the head coach at Arkansas, but to rebuild the football program from the ground up. So that basically takes us for the next week or so of conversation, doesn't it, Ty? It's exciting times, and I think more than anything, I'm cautiously optimistic about what this hiring could lead to. I don't want to sit here and say it's all about head coaching experience, because sooner or later you got to get your first job, right? Mm-hmm. Sooner or later you got to have your first chance to do it. It is interesting that this is the first chance for Pittman to be a head coach at the Division I level, but there's a lot to say about where he's been good at, recruiting, play on the offensive line. These seem to be things that football programs are built on, aren't they? So at least right there, you get a positive step with Pittman. I know you might be a little more skeptical than me, and I think you're probably more skeptical than a lot of, well, if I'm just taking a look at Twitter as the reaction to fans, they're a little more skeptical than them.
Cody Lawn from Johnson City, Tennessee, is already texting on the Cherokee Casino hotline, said, Ty, don't start getting people all stirred up. So I guess he thinks that I'm just going to intentionally do this. And my whole thing, and I was talking to you before the show, Phil and I had a conversation at about 10 o'clock this morning, and we're conversing before the program begins. I just don't understand why more people aren't skeptical based on the fact that you hired what was looked to be a sure thing in Bret Bielema, 3 straight Rose Bowls, and doing what he did at Wisconsin. That failed. And then a true up-and-comer whose offense looked pretty potent, not only at SMU, but in his time as Clemson as well. And we know how Chad Morris fared at Arkansas. Mm-hmm. So my whole thing, I've looked through my Twitter, I've looked through my text and stuff. I don't think I've said that he's going to fail at Arkansas. But I brought up some red flags and some things that I think are concerning with what's going to happen with Sam Pittman in his time at Arkansas, which is okay. And I was going back and through the timeline of when Chad Morris was hired and how many people said this was such a great hire. This is going to be fantastic for the Arkansas Razorback football program. Well, Phil, it hasn't been the case. And I know if you look back to when Bret Bielema was offensive line and really when stuff started going downhill is when he lost some of his better assistants that he had initially at Arkansas.
With Pittman being the first of them, really.
And that's really the guy. And there was this theory out there that it all went downhill after Sam Pittman left. And we'll get to some Bret Bielema sound in a sec from the Pig Trail Nation about him piping his own tune and saying that he made Sam Pittman, which I don't think necessarily is the case. But that theory is going to be tested now. The people that think that Sam Pittman was the architect of Arkansas's offensive line, which is he's gone on to do great things at Georgia and was really good at Arkansas as far as the offensive line goes. But as far as things falling apart and as far as him putting them back together, it's on him now as the head coach of the University of Arkansas, Phil.
Well, and to be coaching so well for one specific position group for a long time, that's a smaller job than running the entire thing. And again, hey, here's the other thing, though, here. So he's never been a head coach at Division I, but he has been a coach at Division I for over 25 years. So, I mean, he has seen how programs have been built. He has seen what has worked in a lot of cases. In a lot of cases, you look throughout his career, I think he's probably seen what hasn't worked at a lot of places, too. Stops like Kansas and Missouri and Oklahoma. Well, he was on the staff before Bob Stoops was hired at OU. Mm-hmm. Things didn't go so well in Norman for those 2 years. So, I mean, I think he's seen a lot of recipes. It's a chance now for him to finally put into place a plan that maybe he's had trying to work for a long time. But now here's the thing of it. I mean, you can talk about the experience of whatever coach. And I do think that there's something to be said about a guy that's been coaching college football for over 25 to 26, 27 years, but not been a head coach, might be a better choice than the guy who Missouri picked, Eli Drinkwitz, who is a young and up-and-coming coach who's done it 1 year at Appalachian State, and he certainly hasn't had the lengthy career that Sam Pittman has. So what really would be the difference between the two of them? 1 year as a head coach at Appalachian State, does that make the difference in I guess, people feeling excited about this hire? But here's the other thing, too. Regardless of the coach you're bringing in, anybody that is going to be the head coach at Arkansas right now is inheriting a true rebuilding project in the absolute sense of the word. This would be a difficult job for anybody.
That's the point that we have to hit on, because when people were coming back at me on social media today, they pointed out Lincoln Riley, Ryan Day, Dabo Swinney, and I know Clemson wasn't at the same level as Oklahoma and Ohio State, but is it a completely different animal? Those are blue bloods in college football. Arkansas used to be a blue blood. That's no longer the case.
Well, and it's different from just being the blue blood, too. It's really, I mean, like, you know, Riley is the chosen successor. He's got a ready-made national championship contending program. Same with Ryan Day.
And he's shown the ability to just do it with any quarterback, whether it's Baker Mayfield, whether it's Kyler Murray, and this year it's Jalen Hurts, and they're back in the college football playoff. That you could argue that this has been his best coaching performance to date based on both sides of the football. And you just don't have that at Arkansas. There's a reason that the team has gone 8-28 these last 3 years. This is not the same type of situation. This is an apples to oranges argument. It's not a good parallel because of the differences of where the programs are when these different coaches took over, Phil.
So this is obviously going to dominate the conversation for the entire week. Never mind that Arkansas basketball suffers its first loss of the season. Never mind Arkansas women's basketball is ranked top 25 and rolled against Kansas State. There are football things to get to. And news of a new head coach, and football is pretty much going to dominate over anything else that you have to get to. So your calls and texts throughout the show today, that's up until 2 o'clock. And the number on the Cherokee Casino hotline is open for you right now at 877-377-6963. Texts are coming in. We want your calls. We want your opinions. And how do you feel about the hiring of Sam Pittman as the next head coach at the University of Arkansas? Of course, later on today, we will be carrying the live press conference from Fayetteville at 3:30 3 o'clock in the Walker Pavilion is when the celebration begins, but I believe the press conference itself starts at 3:30, so that will be carried live in its entirety right here on all your ESPN Arkansas affiliates and also on hitthatline.com. We are brought to you, as always, by Breeden RV in Van Buren, and the year-end clearance sale continues to take your stress away with a newer used RV. They'll let you pick your deal at Breeden, either sales tax paid, 6 months no payments, holiday cash back, or more for your trade. The deal that works for you works for Breeden as well. And, of course, you get that sweet deal of exclusive free maintenance for life at Breeden with every new RV purchase. That's Breeden RV on Alma Highway in Van Buren. You can also go to BreedenRVs.com. Again, that Cherokee Casino hotline number, 877-377-6963. It's a new Coach Monday, and we are right back.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime. This is the Morning Rush.
For those of you who are trying to help with the plane tracking, folks, they're not going to be bringing in the new coach on a prop plane.
Nope. Or a crop duster.
Or a crop duster. I've had people screenshot the plane tracking app, and it's like a plane that's taken off from somewhere in Arkansas, from Harrison or whatnot, going down. And I'm like, it's a prop plane.
Nope.
They're not going to be going around on a prop plane with the coaching search.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
The second location for Whole Hog Cafe in Fort Smith is now open. Located on the east side of town on Phoenix Avenue, next to Dollar General and across from Interstate Batteries. Serving that award-winning Memphis-style barbecue and all your favorite sides, Monday through Saturday, 11 till 8. Pickup orders for Whole Hog Cafe Phoenix Avenue can be placed at 646-2495 or at wholehogfortsmith.com. Whole Hog Cafe's second location on Phoenix Avenue is now open.
This is Mark Hurst. Late fall and early winter are my favorite times of the year. High school football playoffs, time spent with my sons at deer camping in the duck blind, and the holiday season begins. November and December are also great times to take advantage of any remaining dental insurance benefits before the first of the year. Give us a call today at 474-1972 and let us help you maximize your remaining insurance benefits. Or if you don't have dental insurance, ask about our dental discount plan. Hurst Family Dental Care, a name you know and a name you can trust.
Save up to $2,700 or no interest for 5 years on a brand new Hot Springs hot tub from Burton Pools and Spas. Hi, Tommy Kraft here. The holiday sale is going on right now. Every hot tub in stock is on sale with over 60 luxury spas to choose from, and they start at just $26.95. Right now is the time. This includes delivery, cover, and startup chemicals. Stay warm and cozy this winter in your brand new hot spring spa from Burton Pools and Spas. It's the perfect gift for you and your family. And right now, up to $2,700 off or no interest for 5 years on a brand new Hot Springs hot tub. And as part of the holiday sale, check out the full line of Big Green eggs and accessories at Burton Pools and Spas. It's the holiday sale going on right now at Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith, and always online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
As the world draws a little closer together during the holidays, Gary's Body Shop in Ozark sincerely wishes that your loved ones are safe this season and that the coming year will bring you and yours a full measure of success and happiness.
Okay, people, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., Santa's coming to town.
Rita Womack is now at Skin Deep Salon on Zero across from Burton Pools Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, 9 till 6, and wishes all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
At Chambers Bank, our Arkansas roots grow deep, and you can trust us as your partner for every banking need. From a simple checking account to your first home loan, whatever you need, big or small, we are here for you. With 18 convenient branches throughout the state and a full suite of online banking options, we will always be available when you need us. Family owned in Arkansas since 1930, Chambers is your full-service community bank. Bank with trust at Chambers Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 631520.
Your number one Arkansas fan, Auto Owners Insurance and Kohler & Green Insurance is a winning combination. We will work with you to insure your home, auto, business, and life to keep everything you value safe, sound, secure. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Visit Kohler & Green Insurance in Fort Smith. Call 484-9888. And Kohler & Green Insurance in Van Buren. Call 474-9888 today or online at kohlergreen.com.
This is ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Football's out. Razorbacks have picked it up. We're headed back the other way. Picked up by Cam Curl. He's still got the football. Curl's all the way. He's going to the house. Touchdown, Arkansas.
I'll tell you one aspect that Sam Pittman won over before he was even hired as the head coach at Arkansas was any of the players that played for him at Arkansas, and even some of the players that didn't were calling his name, saying this is a guy who players will run through a wall for him. They love his ability to recruit. They feel he's one of them. And look, I mean, you look at the way he was able to at least recruit the offensive line, getting prospects from all over the country. Sebastian Tretola, Frank Ragnow, Hjalte Froholt. This is it's an interesting choice. There's no doubt about that. But there are other people you got to make happy as well, and you got to get the recruits that had committed to Arkansas to be able to stay. Maybe you can reflip some of the kids who have reopened their recruitment. I know a lot of people want Sam Pittman to make a beeline to Morrilton and visit with Jacoby Criswell. But he definitely has his former players on board. I remember hearing about his name a little more than a month ago as a potential candidate for Arkansas. And the first thing that I heard about Sam Pittman is that his players will run through a wall for him.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, not only the ones that play the offensive line position, but other players surrounded as well. I was friends with DJ Dean in college, who's cornerback for Arkansas when I was in school, and I put out the idea of someone explained to me why you think this is going to be a successful hire where the guy has zero head coaching experience. Immediately he shot me a DMs like, everyone loves Coach Pitt. And again, this is a defensive back that probably didn't have a ton of interaction with Sam Pittman, but it wasn't just him. You have Kevin Richardson. You have some of his former offensive linemen and some other players, Phil, like you mentioned, that speak out. And I think that's a good sign. But let me play devil's advocate for 1 sec. We had Taj Boyd on this very radio show and told us how great he thought Chad Morris was going to do at Arkansas. Deshaun Watson came out and said that this was a great hire for Arkansas. Other Clemson players, SMU players thought this was going to work out at Arkansas. Did it? No. So just because former players, current players are excited about this, that doesn't mean it necessarily is going to work. And again, I feel like I have to put an asterisk around this saying I want it to work. Like, because people all of a sudden think I'm like the most pessimistic person ever just because I'm pointing out what other people have said and a few flaws and stuff.
I think it's tougher for you to take this perspective than me. You know, I mean, I'm not from Arkansas. I mean, I've lived here long enough to be Arkansan, going on close to 19 years. But I mean, you've got it in your blood, the Arkansas football thing, and you know, at the same time, you're trying to play the part of a radio host and look at things from both perspectives. So it's a difficult thing to do sometimes. We're trying not to be fans on this show. We're not journalists. We're not fans. You know, we're somewhere in the middle. It's an interesting place to live.
And it was funny because I had several people chirping at me yesterday saying that this team needs unity right now. You need to be on board with this hire. It's like,
it's not a matter of you being on board.
That's what happened with Chad Morris. And look where your football program is. Look at the state of it right now. You need to question things. That doesn't mean you need to be completely against it, because I'm not completely against it. There are some positive things that Sam Pittman brings to the football program. There's no denying that. But to be 100% on board with this without questioning even the slightest bit is just, I think it's ignorant and it's irresponsible on people's part. Like, that's not what we should do, Phil. We shouldn't just be happy-go-lucky and just be 100%. You should look at both sides of the equation, like you're saying.
Cody in Johnson City says he loves the hire for recruiting purposes and assistant coaches. Didn't matter who was hired. He'd be a wait-and-see guy for this hire. And I think you have to. You have to be a wait-and-see sort of a guy for anybody who came into this job because of how difficult the rebuild is. I mean, this could be a career killer for any coach, or it could also be the cornerstone that you're remembered for the rest of your career in a very positive way. Let's see. B in Clarksville says the scariest thing he's concerned about on Pittman is that he was on Bielema's staff, and he doesn't want that level of complacency. But my sense is that he left Arkansas as someone who was not complacent with just the job at Arkansas and took the same position, albeit a step up, going to the University of Georgia. I don't see him as a sort of a complacent guy, B.E. Again, that Cherokee Casino hotline is open for your calls and texts, 877-377-6963. And let's go to Billy in California. Billy, thanks for the call out west. What's going on?
Oh, gentlemen, just waking up to a beautiful California sunny day. We've really got some much-needed rain, so we're very blessed and thankful for that. But I just want to, I've been listening to you guys, and although I'm very, excited about Sam Pittman because, being here a coach, but the points you guys rate are very, very concerning. And we do, as a fan, as a hard, we have got to be patient. You're right, because look, when we lose a coach to Ole Miss like Lane Kiffin, which I was telling Ty, I wonder how much Jimmy Sexton or how much he controls the purse strings of some of as an agent, because that's always still out there. When we lose a coach to Ole Miss, that tells you how far our program has fallen. And this is going to take a massive rebuilding job. So I wish Pittman the best. It is, as a fan, our emotions been going up and crazy since Chad Morris got fired. And who's going to be this guy or that guy? Social media, can drive you crazy if you sit and listen to it and watch it a lot. So like you guys said, Pittman's name was thrown out there. It hadn't been kind of, said much, but in the end, your chick pulls his hair out, makes the decision. We're going to have to live with it. And I'm just going to see what assistance and what kind of style he puts around him, what kind of style of offense he wants to have. And wish him the best, because that's all we can do. Because, dude, we have not won a daggum SEC game in 2 freaking years, so it's not like we're going to go out next year and set the freaking world on fire. So we need to slow our roll, be patient. If he does good, that's great. Help he can be in Ed Orgeron. But, man, we got to slow down because, I hate to say it as a lot-hard Razorback fan, but we are the worst job in the SEC. And to me, that was kind of proven when Lane Kiffin tells you no. As an Arkansas fan, and says yes to Ole Miss within 1 week of Ole Miss losing their job. Lane Kiffin was on board, and he was introduced as their coach, and that's where I'm kind of at, because I think that stinks that we cannot go out and get a coach we want. Because as you guys know, following this, there's a lot of coaches said no, we don't want to go that dumpster fire, and unfortunately, that's what our program's become. And I wish him the best to rebuild us. If there's someone that I think can do it, we can be patient. He can do it because, as you guys have said many times on this radio program, our offensive line and defensive line have stunk. I mean, it's been pathetic. And if we can't protect that quarterback and get after the quarterback, it don't matter who we bring here because we're not going to get it done. But I really like listening to you guys when I get a chance, and I appreciate everything you guys do. And I wish you guys a very Merry Christmas. Phil, I did pay attention to the basketball game. Man, that was a kind of tough loss. I thought, right there going to overtime, we may have had a shot. But when you don't make no shots in overtime, like we did kind of the Georgia Tech game, that comes back and bites you sometimes.
Oh,
but
man,
you
that
guys
game
have a great day,
shouldn't
man.
have even
Thanks
gone to overtime, Billy. Appreciate that call. 5-point lead, 35 seconds to go? That game shouldn't have even gone to overtime, but I guess that'll be a conversation for another day. Here's the thing, too. If the wide receiver for Ole Miss doesn't pee like a dog, Matt Luke might still be the head coach at Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin probably then is the next head coach at Arkansas. This is part of the thing that blows my mind. Is that, we spent a good chunk of last week talking about Lane Kiffin. I do think that he might have been on the pecking order higher up than Sam Pittman as far as Hunter Yurachek was concerned. But obviously Kiffin in that case gets his pick of the two programs that are coming after him, and chose Ole Miss. And
thought that the whole thing was that I heard constantly from Arkansas fans last week is that Fayetteville was the better job than Oxford. That's all I heard. That's all I heard
that from
last
me
week.
Too. You heard that from me as well.
But if that's the case, if that was the case, then Lane Kiffin, unless there's just something going on with Jimmy Sexton, Hunter Yurachek behind doors, closed doors that we don't know about, then Lane Kiffin's your head coach if he thought that Arkansas was a better job than Ole Miss. But it may be, and I think the idea out there that most of the fans and our listeners will lay out that Arkansas probably is a better job than Ole Miss. But it's not about what you think. It's about what college football coaches think. And based on what we just saw, the most recent example where it looked like the guy could have ended up at either place he chose Ole Miss.
And that's not the case with Sam Pittman. He was not a candidate at any other place. He wanted the job at Arkansas, and it wasn't a matter of him choosing Arkansas over another job, except the job that he already had.
Correct.
You're getting a huge raise. There's obviously so much more that goes with being a head coach. But, hey, and this was part of the conversation last week about pecking order as far as which job is better, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Missouri. And so much of us are looking to whatever the tradition is and the facilities and the fan bases and money that goes along with it and how you're viewed across the fan base and the state. The fact of the matter right now, I think, is that the coaches that were looking for jobs, they were looking at what they were about to get, what situation they were landing in at that very moment. Not what happened 10 years ago, not what happened 20, 25, 30 years ago, not even what happened 5 or 6 years ago. More what's going on in the last year or two. And when you look at it from that perspective, there's no doubt about it. Arkansas is the toughest job in the SEC, and we've been shown that.
Of the ones open. Let's clarify that, because I think Billy said that it's the toughest job. That's not true. It's not worse than Vanderbilt, but if the job's open with the current roster, I'd have to look more in depth at Missouri, but Ole Miss has a better roster than Arkansas.
Doesn't mean it's always going to be that way.
Correct.
And however Arkansas performs under Sam Pittman, well, that's the perception that the next head coach will have on the program that he's taking over. Hey, if you own a business that needs more security or maybe needs more curb appeal, a new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. The Fence Man specializes in custom installations. They've been doing it for over 40 years. They've got gates and controlled access card readers, much more. The Fence Man is there for a quick, no-obligations quote. All you got to do is call 479-782-3936. Fence Man's a division of Quantum Property Services. Calls and texts coming after the break. Stay tuned.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime.
Your number one Arkansas fan, Auto Owners Insurance and Kohler & Green Insurance is a winning combination. We will work with you to insure your home, auto, business, and life to keep everything you value safe, sound, secure. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Visit Kohler & Green Insurance in Fort Smith. Call 484-9888. And Kohler & Green Insurance in Van Buren. Call 474-9888 today or online at kohlergreen.com. Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the Chicken Pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
Barley is the soul of Budweiser. That's why we've been working with the same family-owned American farms for more than 50 years to harvest it. The secrets to growing this grain perfectly have been passed down through 3 generations. For them, it's a legacy. And it's why only the best barley and locally sourced ingredients are used to make Budweiser. Budweiser is proudly raised across America. This Bud's from our barley farmers. This Bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Unlimited personal group training at the Fort Smith Athletic Club. Personal group training is a great way to create accountability for your fitness while improving mobility, endurance, and overall wellness. Reach your fitness goals faster with personal group training. Only $60 a month. Call Mike Johnson at 479-926-0193. These workouts are high intensity and get results in under an hour. Only $60 a month. Call for class schedules and details. 479-926-0193. Results happen here at the Fort Smith Athletic Club.
It's cold outside. Did you know many natural gas appliances can operate even when the power is out? Natural gas fireplaces, gas logs, space heaters, ranges, grills, outdoor lights, and backup generators will operate when you need them the most. Install efficient, safe, and reliable natural gas appliances today. It's the right choice. Call 784-2000 or visit AOGC.com to experience the benefits of natural gas today. AOG. Energy for life.
Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays are all about football. And TGI Fridays in Fort Smith has all-day specials every game day. TGI Fridays has the game on and all your favorite beers, drinks, and appetizers, including $2 draft beers, $5 pitchers, and $3 specialty drinks. Plus delicious appetizers like loaded cheese fries, boneless wings, skillet queso, and lots more for only $5. Football, food, and fun all day long. If it's game day, it's TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
This is ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Out of the shotgun now as Cornelius comes into the backfield here for second and goal. And they give him the ball. Cornelius scores it. What a call.
Interesting Monday here on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas. HitThatLine.com. Talking to Sam Pittman pretty much for 120 minutes. Two of some of those commercials and live reads we got to get to every once in a while. Cherokee Casino Hotline open all show long, 877-377-6963. So one of our best calls last week came from this very caller who said you were going to have to, what was it, Miss Lisa? Was it that you'd have to burn down Dixon Street?
I said he would burn down.
He would burn it down. You don't have to worry about it now. I don't think Sam Pittman's the kind of guy who's going to be hitting Dixon Street too much.
Well, I'm going to chastise both of you just a little bit first, and then
Please,
I'll
go
be
for it.
nice. Okay. Chad Morris, we were all behind Chad Morris' tie. He never bought in here. He didn't move his family. You know, Lou Holtz's wife, when he would get a different job, he would always ask her, you know, I've got this job offered to Arkansas, Minnesota, Notre Dame. What about the kids? They're in high school. She says, look. I heard him say this at a Razorback banquet one time. When the kids get 18, they can live where they want to. Where you go, we go. Chad Morris should have moved his wife and kids. His son could have been a star at Fayetteville, Springdale Harbor, Springdale, Rogers, Bentonville, wherever. He chose to do the jet set life. That was on him. He had half his mind on Texas and the other half on Arkansas. You can't be the head coach of an SEC team when you've got your body in two places.
Okay,
Agree
that's
or
fair
disagree?
enough. That's fair enough, Miss Lisa. And I think, you know, you're making a point that I think you made a few times before, and you might
I
right
have,
about
and
some
I wanted
of that.
to make it one more time.
You'll be right
Yeah,
about
I'm
that
going
as
to move
well.
away from that.
Okay, so what
And,
about Sam Pittman? What do you think about this hire?
I love the hire. And let me tell you why. Number one, the kids like it. But number two, for the last however many years, every quarterback that we have trotted out there has left on a stretcher due to a concussion, including Jack Lindsey the end of the year. Remember all this? Because our O-line was so pitiful. Do y'all remember this?
Absolutely. Remember watching it happen all throughout these last couple of years. And, you know, when you look, and I got to do a lot more research on Pittman's career, at least statistically, where he's gone. But when I look back at Arkansas, his 3 years, they didn't allow a lot of sacks.
Oh, do you want me to give you want me to give y'all a stat for you?
Arkansas, yeah, I'll give us a stat.
3 years, Arkansas under Sam Pittman, 35 sacks. You know what? How many they gave up in 2016?
35 sacks sounds like a month's worth these days.
36. Yeah. So in 3 years under Sam Pittman at Arkansas, that offensive line, who wasn't that great even his first year, allowed 35 sacks. And this is my buddy Aaron Rosenthal who did his due diligence looking this up. The following year, 36. Because I remember this stat is I've read this out several times in this program. Brandon Allen was sacked less in his career than Austin Allen was in 2016.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, that you hear that stat. Let me say it one more time. In his career at Arkansas under Sam Pittman, I got to put that in there. Brandon Allen was sacked less than Austin Allen 1 year in 2016.
That's amazing. Well, the line of scrimmage is where games are won and lost, right, Miss Lisa?
Me that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm glad you read me that stat because I haven't heard that. But another reason I'm excited about this hire is because of his recruiting abilities. And we all know that we have to have a good recruiter in Arkansas. We have to. There's no two ways about it. I got sick at my stomach Saturday watching Ohio State, KJ Hill setting the all-time record for Ohio State. And, of course, they couldn't help themselves. Every 2 to 3 minutes, if y'all watched the game, they referred to him being from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Can you not be happy for
And
him, though?
I was tremendously happy for him. I'm happy for any kid, regardless of where they're from when they set these records. But I'm thinking, he could have been our guy. That's the way I think. I think Razorbacks first. I'm sorry, but that's just the way I was raised.
Admittedly, it should
But
be.
I was happy for KJ Hill. But I am on board. I'll close out my call. I am on board with this hire. I will buy my tickets, and I will show up and act the fool. I always do. And until he gives me a reason not to support him, I will support him. And with that, I'll hang up.
It's a
Thank
good
you
call,
for
Miss
taking
Lisa.
my call.
And there, a lot of times, Miss Lisa would call up and tell us that she was threatening to give up her tickets if things didn't change. So, I mean, this is another aspect of people you got to keep happy is the people who buy the tickets and have had them for years and years. And maybe some of them, if they're reflective of Miss Lisa, will keep those tickets. 877-377-6963, the Cherokee Casino hotline. We'll go back to the phones. Brian in Magazine. Hey, Brian, thanks for calling.
Hey, guys. Hey, I thought I'd bring up a couple of points. About a week ago, I got on Twitter for the first time in my life. And
I'm sorry you did that to yourself.
What a time. What a time to pick that up. It's been the most exciting week of my life.
You can hear the giddiness in Brian's voice. I mean, there's somebody who's never been on Twitter before until a coaching search. Was it the coaching search that got you on this platform, Brian?
Oh, yeah, and that's exactly what it was. There was just I was not getting information fast enough, and I got more than I ever could have bargained for. And it's been wonderful. And even nationally, you're seeing people who have said over the last week that, the Arkansas coaching search was one of the crazier Twitter events that they've been involved in recently. But I thought I would bring up our latest little Twitter tidbits. I'm seeing that footballscoop.com is reporting that the contract for Pittman is going to be $3 million a year and has a very interesting clause in it where it auto extends up to 2 times during the initial term of the contract if he makes a bowl game. I thought that was a very interesting term
tidbit
to put in a contract.
I like the
before.
idea of an incentive. I'm sure there'll be some sort of buyout because there always are. Although Hunter Yurachek has said he'd like to see that practice stopped. You don't really control the marketplace. It's good to see that sort of incentive tossed in there to make a bowl game.
It's sort of the inverse of that.
Yeah.
Because he's getting rewarded for the wins, at that base level. I mean, it would almost be the same as if you said, well, you've got a 5-year contract, and we're going to, deduct a year if you don't make a bowl. So it's just kind of worded differently, I guess you could say. But maybe in his mind, this was a way to sort of push in that direction of wins being the bottom line.
I need to be. And I think when we were discussing Mike Leach's contract last week, Phil, that he also has a clause. And I don't know if it's tied down to making bowl games, but he has an auto-extend clause in his contract as well. I wonder if we can convince Tommy to put that in our contracts too. You think we can?
If the football team makes a bowl game?
No, just based on our performance. I guess. Well, we probably don't want to be performance-based because then
I don't want to be held to the standards for Arkansas football. Yeah. I do not want my future tied to the football team's future, even though it sort of is, because that's what we're going to be talking about pretty much for the rest of the month.
And since you're talking about performance-based, I had someone, I can't remember, I think it was Derek, the guy's name, said that I'd rather see the Arkansas team as a dumpster fire than win football games. I don't understand that. And I don't know how many times I've had to say that I went to school there, like a 5th generation Razorback and stuff. I like it would be fun, Phil, to talk about a winning football program for once on this show, because since you and I have started, that hasn't been the case. I'd actually like to. I remember listening to sports radio when I was younger. It was fun. It was more fun because they talked about a winning football program. That's not been the case these last couple of years. So I don't get why people think that I want this program to be down in the dumpster fire. They said for ratings or whatever. That's not true. It's just not true.
Grizz and Barling says he personally likes this hire over Kiffin. He thinks Hunter Yurachek rejected Lane Kiffin to get his number one, being Sam Pittman. I doubt Pittman was the top choice. That's not to say he's not the right fit. I don't think he was the top choice. Jeremiah in Cedarville remains cautiously optimistic about the hire. The fact Sam Pittman has lobbied for the job still shows that the program is a good destination for the right person. John in Nashville says the biggest factor turning the thing around the next couple of years is line of scrimmage play. Now, that's the thing. He's been able to focus on line of scrimmage play for most of his career. It's a bigger perspective now, a much bigger perspective. And you can always say about not just this hire, but any other football job in America, you build yourself a good staff and go from there. That doesn't separate Arkansas from anything else. 877-377-6963, the Cherokee Casino hotline. Your calls and texts after the break.
A show that lives up to the hype. You're listening to Halftime.
Deer season, duck season, and the holiday seasons are here. And Jelco Outdoors has all the gear and gift items for all the season. Firearms, footwear, archery, waterfowl, fishing, cold weather clothing, workwear, work boots, casual shoes and boots, hiking boots, and hundreds of great gift ideas for the holiday season. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors, your store for work and the great outdoors. 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Evans Body Shop would like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year. We truly appreciate all of our customers, staff, friends, and family for their continued support and dedication. We could not do what we do without our dedicated staff and loyal customers, and we are truly blessed. Please drive safely during this most wonderful time of the year and enjoy the moments with your loved ones. If you do find yourself in an accident, we hope you will remember us at Evans Body Shop, 412 Gordon Avenue, Van Buren.
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Right now, I'm holding a perfectly ice-cold Coors Light. You know how I know it's the perfect temperature? Because the mountain on the can is blue. And also, it's really cold. Every Coors Light is cold filtered, cold lagered, and cold packaged. Notice how many times I said cold? 3 times. It's that cold. So make sure the mountain on your can of Coors Light is blue, because that means it's ready to enjoy. 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Come Get You Some has been proudly serving the Fort Smith and surrounding area for over 18 years. They sell and install lift kits, wheels, tires, leveling kits, LED lights, differential gears and lockers, and so much more. They also repair vehicles as well. Do you need ball joints, tie rod ends, or just have that pesky service light on? They can help with that too. With a full selection of AN fittings, custom brake lines, and thousands of tabs and brackets in stock, they have those hard-to-find parts for the build-it-yourselfer. Come Get You Some. 2728 Towson Avenue, 479-782-6833. The second location for Whole Hog Cafe in Fort Smith is now open. Located on the east side of town on Phoenix Avenue, next to Dollar General and across from Interstate Batteries. Serving that award-winning Memphis-style barbecue and all your favorite sides, Monday through Saturday, 11 till 8. Pickup orders for Whole Hog Cafe Phoenix Avenue can be placed at 646-2495 or at wholehogfortsmith.com. Whole Hog Cafe's second location on Phoenix Avenue is now open.
Wave Rural Connect is bringing state-of-the-art fiber, internet, TV, and phone services right into your home. Get amazing fast fiber internet, 100 megabits for only $49.95 per month, or 1 gigabit for only $79.95 per month. TV packages from the basics to our amazing Altered TV, starting at $32.95. Fiber phone services start at $29.95. Go to waveruralconnect.com to find out if we are installing in your area, or call 1-833-4-WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Protection with possibilities. Have past losses made you cautious about taking on risk with your investments? Are you concerned that your savings are not generating the returns you need? If you are interested in protecting your money and capturing potential investment growth, contact Brad Lewis at United Financial Advisors at 242-7466 or ufadvisors.net to see whether market-linked CDs may be the right solution for you.
Securities and advisory service offered through Royal Alliance Associates, member FINRA, SIPC. United Financial Advisors is a marketing destination.
Your fence is more than a decoration. It's a reflection of its owner. Choosing a fence company should be done with integrity and quality in mind. The Fence Man has been providing fencing and security solutions for over 40 years. An in-house custom iron and gate department, plus an access control department. The Fence Man offers services other companies aren't equipped to do. The Fence Man, fencing and security solutions to protect what matters most. 479-782-3936 or online at thefencemancompany.com, a division of Quantum Property Services.
This is ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
He lost it. And Arkansas, Tony Bua comes away with it, and Arkansas comes away with the win in 7 overtime.
Well, it's a big week for halftime, not just because you got a new football coach, Sam Pittman at Arkansas, but because we have a live show coming up on Friday. So those of you who've been hating on Ty on Twitter for the last couple of days, well, you can come hate on him in person.
To my face.
That's right.
Throw eggs at me.
You can actually do it to his face. Well, just make sure that I'm not sitting right next to him when you fire the eggs. Or maybe if what I think Clay Goodwin, the Arkansas director of operations for baseball, if he's got what I think he's got on his desk for me, I think they made a glove for me with my name on it, then I can catch those eggs and save you, Ty. But we'll be at Wheeler Power Sports in Fort Smith on Friday for a live edition of Halftime during the Roxor Christmas Open House. By the way, that open house is Friday and Saturday at Wheeler Power Sports, 901 North 11th near downtown Fort Smith. We'll be there live for halftime Friday from noon to 2. We usually get there an hour before the show would begin, so if we can maybe get a line of hate for you, Ty, we can actually get it more than – there might be people waiting in line, to bash you over the head, perhaps. I think so. It's like from the movie Airplane, where they were waiting in line to quiet the lady who could not stop screaming.
Hopefully, I won't get slapped like she did. So I hope that doesn't. And by the way, we're also going to be giving away a couple Fort Smith Brewing Company gift cards and Jerry Neal Barbecue gift cards as well. So not only is there incentive to throw eggs in my face, but we have a few prizes that we'll be giving away down there at Wheeler Power Sports as well.
News coming out of Twitter. It's not news, it's rumors with Kenny Dillingham leaving Auburn. Is he joining Norvell at Florida State? Or is he but anyway, the OC job at Auburn is open, and apparently Chad Morris might be a front runner for that job. That would be interesting. Very interesting.
Oh, it'd be phenomenal. And in terms of just the intrigue, in terms of him coming back to Fayetteville, wouldn't be next year because they go to Auburn, Alabama, the fall or this next year, and then it would be in 2 years if this was to happen. He was still there. They would come back to Fayetteville in 2 years. I mean, that's intriguing to me, right? It's just like the same thing when we heard Bruce Feldman of The Athletic talking about he's a candidate for the Texas offensive coordinator job. That's still intriguing because you're wondering wherever he lands, where's Chandler going to end up? Is Chandler also going to end up at the same school as him? Is he going to be a lot better as an OC than he was at the head coach at Arkansas? So people are going to track his moves and see what ends up happening these next couple weeks, Phil.
A text from the 901 says, great hire. Hindsight is 20/20, but Pittman is the exact guy we need to rebuild the program. Maybe he wants to retire in 5 years after he makes Arkansas respectable again, and then Arkansas gets a, quote, big-name hire. AC in Fort Smith says, one thing's for certain, the whole team's going to be tougher and more resilient. You know, the words that Hunter Yurachek used to describe Pittman, grit, resilience, to me, these are words that I would usually expect to be associated with an offensive line coach. That's the toughest aspect of football. It's the part of the game that I probably have the toughest time understanding. Maybe it's my lack of offensive lineman size, but this is where games are won and lost. I heard, and I'm a baseball guy more than anything else, and I remember hearing from Scott Service, who had been the manager at Seattle, that he viewed the strike zone as the line of scrimmage for baseball. It's where games are won and lost. If you can't control the strike zone, if you can't control the line of scrimmage, you can't win on a consistent basis. I don't try to draw baseball to football lines too often. That's one that hit home with me that I think made a lot of sense. And it's for me, and I don't know what sort of percentage there is of head coaches who come from offensive or defensive line positions. But in baseball, you get so many managers that are catchers because these are guys who know how to control the strike zone. Mm-hmm. It would seem to me that you probably have a lot of head coaches who have experience coaching the line somewhere. Yeah. All right, your calls and texts throughout the show today, 877-377-6963. Eddie in Clarksville on the Cherokee Casino hotline. Eddie, you got the bus revved up? Are you ringing the bell? You have a horn to blow? What's going on?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon to the fan base. I'm ringing a bell, you bet, because one of the coaches I mentioned last week to put in Santa's sleigh was Mr. Sam Pittman. And you know what? I think he deserves a shot. I think he's earned it. And so the best offensive line coach in the game today. And so what is he going to do? If you're going to compete in the SEC, especially the SEC Western Division, you better be fundamentally sound and mentally tough in the trenches. And so that's what he's going to do to our offensive line. Another thing that excites me about Coach Pittman, he's a relentless recruiter. And another thing that excites me, he's going to bring buy-in to this program. I mean, he's going to recruit kids that want to be a Razorback, that want to play on game day, that want to make hope the light on the playing field. And so I'm excited. And so what about you, gentlemen? You talk about, you made reference to the Ole Miss job and to Arkansas. Hands down, Arkansas is a better job. You want to judge a program the last 4 years, the last two under Coach Bielema, the last two under what I consider the worst coaching hire in the history of our program, Coach Morris? Go ahead. But this man is on a turning around. I'm excited. Ring the bell. Let me hear the bell, because we're going to get fundamentally sound in this. And another thing I'd like to bring up, I brought this. I brought up a couple defensive coordinators. What's the chance that we go get Randy Shannon or Charlie Strong, somebody that's going to be this look like Sam Pittman's going to do and bring some mental toughness to this defense? You want to compete in the SEC? You want to compete in the SEC Western Division? I don't care who you bring up here. You better be able to block, and you better be able to get some pressure on that defensive line. And so I'm excited. Who will be the next offensive coordinator after U of A? Well, does he have an ace up his sleeve? I've heard, I'm going to hang up here. I want you to comment on who might be. I've heard the Colorado guy, but I'd like to put my hat in on a young man that is coached in, followed under Malzahn, Mr. Red Ashley. I mean, bring somebody up here that's going to be offensive-minded, going to stretch the field, and we're going to be mentally tough again. And so in this fan base, I think all things considered, between Kiffin and Coach Pittman, we'll see how it turns out. But I'm circling that game next year in Fayetteville. And so I think we're going to be, I think we're a better football program than we were yesterday.
All right, Eddie. Appreciate you, man. And, hey, I've heard potentially, I know you mentioned the Colorado offensive coordinator, Jay Johnson. I think he and Pittman have worked together before. That's the other thing. I mean, you've got to be able to piece together a recruiting class and an entire staff at the same time. You talk about hit the ground running. That's a tough way to hit the ground. Let's go back to that Cherokee Casino hotline, and our man Robert in Fort Smith has dialed up. Robert, how you doing?
Oh, not too bad. I'm glad Eddie's got more confidence in this mess than I do, because I feel like that I'm not, and I wasn't a big Kiffin man. I was wanting Mike Leach, but whatever it was, it was. But I feel like that we supposedly, Ole Miss was a better, or not so great of a job, but they got the coach with more experience in head coaching than we did. And if it was over money, was it that much money difference? Was there a big gap? Because I don't know, because I haven't seen the numbers today.
Well, Robert, and I think Clay mentioned this on the Morning Rush, and we've gotten a couple of people tell us this, that it was one of those scenes where it was understood that Lane Kiffin had accepted the job at Arkansas. And again, this is hearsay. I'm not closely sourced like a couple other media members are, but he accepted the job at Arkansas, like verbally, then got an offer from Ole Miss. Sexton tried to counter it, and Arkansas pulled their offer. Again, that's not confirmed or anything. That's just what we've kind of seen and heard a little bit. So Yurachek felt like not dismayed. How would you say that, Phil?
It's disrespected, I think, more than anything is what he's getting at.
And that's kind of what it's not a money issue, because I think that Arkansas can compete with whatever comes out of Oxford, Mississippi, as far as the dollar bill is concerned. But that's it's more of a principle thing. That is what it seems like, Robert.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, you're out from under the Jimmy Sexton now, because Pittman's agent is Judy Henry. This, according to a tweet from David Basil yesterday. Henry has been a 31-year attorney at Wright Lindsay Jennings, which is in Little Rock. So, I mean, you're dealing with somebody who, as far as the agent is concerned, is from the state, lives here, knows the state. You're out from under Jimmy Sexton. It's been a while.
I think her husband also played for the UFA, if I remember that correctly, as well, in the 70s or 80s. If I remember seeing Basil's tweet about that. So yeah, I think you want to. I know Jimmy is incredible at his job, and I think it was JCP that coined the phrase. The fact that you just can say his first name and everyone knows who that is, Phil, kind of speaks to what he's been able to do in the agency industry.
Robert, good to hear from you, man. Thanks for calling. I know we'll hear from you again.
Have a good one.
Yep, Robert, probably our most often caller there, and he's a little skeptical. I don't blame you for being skeptical. It's not up to us to get everybody on board. It's up to you. It's up to the fans whether or not you're on board with the hire of Sam Pittman. And that's what this week is about. And really, you can be excited about things. You can say you're on board. But until things really start getting moving, a staff gets formed, recruits come in, and then wins and losses once you come to next October. We'll see. Second hour coming after the break. Stay tuned. Should be fun.
We wish you happy holidays from Breeden RV in Van Buren, where the year-end clearance sale continues. The holidays can be stressful. Why not take that stress away with the newer used RV? We'll even jingle your bells by letting you pick your deal. Sales tax paid, no payments for 6 months, holiday cash back, more for your trade. You choose the deal that's best for you. Remember, every new RV comes with Breeden's exclusive free maintenance for life.
Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Thanks, Eddie. Come see us on Elma Highway in Van Buren or visit us on the web at BreedenRV.com.
See dealer for details.
Always get more at Orr.
We always put the customer first at Orr Chevrolet in Fort Smith. Since 1924, the Orr family of dealerships has grown based on one simple principle. Give the customer more money for their trades and give them a lower price on their new vehicle. It's a simple concept, really, but one that very few dealers honor anymore. Hey, we know you paid a lot of money for your vehicle, and Orr Chevrolet wants to pay you the maximum amount for it today. Then we'll give you an awesome price on a new Chevrolet. But we're not done giving you more. Included with any new vehicle sold. Or Chevy will also give you a lifetime powertrain warranty, 2 years of free maintenance, and free car washes for life. So come get a lower price and more money for your trade today at Orr Chevrolet on Auto Park Drive in Fort Smith and 24/7 at OrChevyFS.com. Chevy, find new roads.
You always get more at Orr.
The list of things I rely on is short. There's my recliner, the lawnmower, the kid sitter, and above all, Michelin tires. Get the tire that's ready to make every stop in every season. And for a limited time, get yours with a $70 reward card after submission when you buy a set of 4 new Michelin passenger or light truck tires. Your Michelin tires and savings are waiting for you at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith. See MichelinMan.com, promo for complete details. Offer valid between 11/13/2019 and 12/13/2019. Void where prohibited.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half price. And all beers on tap are half price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Our weather overnight, cloudy and a slight chance of a shower. Our lows around 50. Breezy and cloudy tomorrow. Our highs in the low to mid 60s. Maybe a shower. Cloudy and chilly Monday night, upper 20s north, mid-30s south, and then we'll be getting some showers on Wednesday, mid-40s. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by Hertz Car Sales, 2810 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith. You can call them today at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromhertz.com.
Radio station.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith, from the Bush and Bushlight Studios. This is ESPN 95.3.
Touchdown!
Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
Hey, Coach Pittman, you got something to say?
Yeah, I do.
Go Hogs! Yes,
sir!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
It is my pleasure to offer you the opportunity to be the head football coach at the University of Arkansas.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Woo Pig Suey.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I guess that's the slogan, or at least the one that they start with Sam Pittman. This yes, sir thing, this is a thing for him. Has it always been a thing for him?
He did it a lot at Georgia, and I know the video that a lot of people like or dislike is the one of him in the Georgia jersey labeled number 69 and him just saying, yes, sir. That's just a one of those ones. But after big wins or a big recruit, signs or commits, that's been kind of his staple since his time in Athensville. I don't remember him doing that at Arkansas. And I look back through some old videos, and I don't think that started until he arrived in Georgia, but I could be wrong about that.
Is that going to be a thing then? Is that going to be the? It to me doesn't seem like a hammer down or like a left lane. Anything
I don't know,
like
Phil.
that.
It's a phrase. You hate those phrases, man.
It's a
little worried about it.
A sales slogan is the thing that I don't want. And to me, it doesn't quite sound the same way as that hammer down and left lane, which were supposed to be about Morris's philosophy as a coach. Turned out, I don't think he had a philosophy as a head coach. For Pittman, I don't know. It just seems more like, I don't know. I don't know how to describe what yes sir means, as far as just being polite as in a Southern way, or just being excited in another way, or just to confirm, yes, I'm coming here, or to designate excitement some way. I don't view it the same way. And if he gets up on the podium at 3:30 today for the press conference and does a big yes sir thing, I'll wrinkle my eyes a little bit at that. I hope that's not what happens. I hope there's a lot more substance.
So you mentioned the press conference. I know we mentioned this in hour number one. Our buddy John Neighbors is making his way up to Fayetteville as we speak. We are going to have that live on Ruskin and Zach, not only on our ESPN Arkansas stations as well as ESPN 99.5 up there in Northwest Arkansas. Also going to have it on hitthatline.com. Also going to have it probably live stream as well on our Facebook, YouTube, as Twitter. So we're going to give you as much access as possible so you'll be able to listen to Sam Pittman's introduction live today on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Okay, Hogfins and Alma reminded me that I'd said, and I think he asked about Charlie Strong maybe being a defensive coordinator at Arkansas. And I remember thinking, isn't it usually like a year or so, maybe 1 year for a head coach that gets fired to take a coordinator's position somewhere else? And then you reminded me, Mike McIntyre, the I guess still current DC at Ole Miss, did the same thing after getting let go by Colorado, takes the job at Ole Miss, and if maybe Chad Morris may do the same thing, going from Arkansas as the head coach to Auburn as the offensive coordinator. So Hogfins, I mean, I think you're proven correct that it's something that can happen. I think it's real. Charlie Strong is a coordinator at Arkansas. I see that as realistic. Absolutely. If he's fine taking a step down after being a head coach for the last 12, 13 years, if not longer, then sure, that is realistic. And don't worry, you're not making me mad by reminding me of that. I don't remember everything I say throughout an entire week here on this radio program.
And I think Strong's Batesville, that's where he's from, Arkansas, if I remember that correctly, or he was around there or something. I think that's one. There's also been people wanting to link Barry Odom, who liked Sam Pittman's announcement, the fact that he was announced as the University of Arkansas head coach, but he's also been rumored to have an interest in the Memphis job. So I'm curious to see if he would also be willing to go to a rival school and become the DC at Arkansas, Phil.
Oh, I love the text from Ross in Paris on the Cherokee Casino hotline here. He says, I got a slogan for you. Pump the brakes. That's a good one. That is a good one. There isn't a single coach in America that's going to use that slogan, though. So, Ross, I think it's a good mentality to have, but you're never going to see that hashtag on a tweet coming from any football program, and certainly not one that's right now looking to rebuild, although that's what it's all about. You're rebuilding, so yes, pump the brakes a little bit. 877-377-6963 is the Cherokee Casino hotline. We'll take your calls and texts up until 2 o'clock today. We have cleared the hour. Usually we would have Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South at 1:30 on a Monday. And, hey, it's not that we wouldn't want to talk about the other things going on in the SEC. I mean, you've got the LSU Tigers ranked number 1 in the country in the playoff poll. You have bowl announcements, other coaches taking positions in this conference. Drinkwitz at Mizzou, Kiffin at Ole Miss. Some coordinator shuffling going on, but we are firmly ensconced in the Sam Pittman conversation. And I'll assume that's what Drew and Harrison is called in for. Drew on the Cherokee Casino hotline. Hey, Drew, you're on the air.
Hey, guys. Just wanted to reach out and talk about something for a second. So I get that everybody's big downplay on Pittman right now is that, he doesn't have any coaching experience, but you got to think of some of the guys that he's been around in his career. I mean, he's learned a lot of different things from a lot of different people who have been successful as head coaches. And then at a lot of stops, he's been assistant head coaches. So you got to think he's been involved in some of those conversations that you would have as a head coach. And so I just wanted to hear your opinion on that. And then my other question was, anybody have an idea of what kind of philosophy he's going to want to run on offense with this being the first time where he's really, truly calling the shot? I was interested to see what you guys thought he would do.
Drew, thanks for the call, as always, man. We appreciate it. So as far as the philosophy goes, I think Mike Irwin had this tweet that he would try and run something similar to Chad Morris, but that's kind of interesting because he's made his mainstay for the most part, especially in his years at the SEC, running power football. We saw that Bret Bielema tried to do that here at Arkansas. It didn't work. They ended up throwing the ball a lot more than you initially thought they were going to. And at Georgia, they've been a power-run football team with a number of different studs, running backs that have come through that program, whether it's Swift, whether it's Chubb, whether it's Michelle, whoever. They've had some dudes, and they've had a ton of run plays and that power-type systems. That's an interesting question. What kind of philosophical changes are you going to see, if any, on the offensive side of the football? He's already talked about they're going to not be doing no-contact practice anymore, and he wants to instill a toughness that he feel like's kind of left the football program. But as far as the offense goes, Phil, you just went from a power eye, fullback, line him up, beat him down, and Bret Bielema. Then you go to Chad Morris, which is considered more of a smash mouth spread, kind of go quick. Like, it would be a really difficult task to ask them to go back to that smash mouth style, or it's not, or the more of the like the I formation, that
the more pro style approach.
Correct, yeah, more pro style approach. So that's an interesting thing to keep an eye on, and that's why it's not like the defensive coordinator isn't important, because we saw what happens when you don't have a DC that's up to the task in John Chavis these last 2 years. But I think the OC is more important because it's going to show what he's trying to establish on the offensive side of the football these next few years, assuming the OC is there that long, Phil.
Bryce in Fort Smith got to one of the things that our previous caller just asked about. He says, just because somebody's been around another legendary coach doesn't mean that they can execute the same as their mentors. And you just learned this with Chad Morris. So there's some truth to that. As an associate head coach, I don't know how much you are in on all the decisions that are made for one football team, but he's been an associate head coach at North Carolina under Butch Davis, at Arkansas under Bret Bielema, and Kirby Smart at Georgia. And I think wasn't Kirby Smart's first hire when he took over at Georgia to bring Pittman over from Arkansas as the offensive line coach. So again, I got into that last hour, that when you've been even just as an offensive line coach, but then yes, as an AHC for as long as Pittman has, you've seen what works. You've seen what doesn't work. And I know not every situation is the same. And at Arkansas, it's not the same as what it was at North Carolina in the late aughts. It's not the same as it was at Arkansas his first time around here. Certainly it's not the same at Georgia. But you're seeing a lot of different philosophies get implemented in different ways.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that Sam Pittman has had a lot of his own ideas on how to try to implement those specific ideas. And now he's finally got a chance to do it. So you're right, though. I mean, just because you've been around great coaches doesn't mean you're going to be a great coach. Not every great assistant coach is a great head coach. You're going to find out if Sam Pittman is at least a head coach who can be viewed as a builder. I don't really think we're going to find out if he's a great head coach for a couple of years. But he's also going to get the sort of patience that you need to build this program up. Hopefully he can do that. We'll come back after the break. Your calls and texts continue on halftime.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime. This is the Morning Rush.
I do know that Sam Pittman wanted this job. He wanted to be the head coach of Arkansas so badly. He was texting people. He was calling people. He was saying, I want this job, and I will do whatever it takes to prove myself for this job. Luckily for Arkansas, Hunter Yurachek appreciated that, and it resonated with him. So that's why he decided to make the hire of Sam Pittman.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Due to public demand, Eagle Crest Golf Course will remain open through the winter months. That's right. Eagle Crest Golf Course is still open, and you can still enjoy one of the best courses in the state with winter rates. Just $35 plus tax, card included, to enjoy the beautiful bent grass greens and the best views of the river valley. Eagle Crest Golf Course is open, and it's only $35 to play. Eagle Crest Golf Course, Highway 64, just east of Alma.
Christmas time's coming.
That special gift this year should be a room makeover from the Paint Store in Van Buren. They have packages for a kitchen, bathroom, or living room. Or why not all of them? Gift certificates can also be customized. Give your wife, family member, or great friend a super surprise gift of a room makeover this year. We can also help with recommendations for a reliable contractor. The Paint Store in Van Buren is always the place to go. Go see them today at 1414 Fayetteville Road for your room makeover gift certificate.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas from Frank Rowe Furniture.
Here at Frank Rowe Furniture, for the month of December, is offering no sales tax and free delivery. What a wonderful gift for Christmas to our customers. We carry many made-in-the-USA products, including Catnap, Best Home Furnishings, Union Furniture, Affordable Furniture, and Speed Queen Laundry. We offer several financing options, including in-house, no-credit check financing. Merry Christmas from Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Frank Rowe Furniture. Best seats in the house.
Your fence is more than a decoration. It's a reflection of its owner. Choosing a fence company should be done with integrity and quality in mind. The Fence Man has been providing fencing and security solutions for over 40 years. An in-house custom iron and gate department, plus an access control department. The Fence Man offers services other companies aren't equipped to do. The Fence Man, fencing and security solutions to protect what matters most. 479-782-3936 or online at thefencemancompany.com, a division of Quantum Property Services.
Attention Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative members. Do you need a better internet provider? One who treats you like a member and not a number? Then check out our new fiber internet services from Wave Rural Connect. We are bringing state-of-the-art, high-speed fiber internet, TV, and phone services right into your home. If you are an Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative member, go to waveruralconnect.com to sign up. That's waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
At Shelter Insurance, we know landlords have to keep up with their renters, even if they're related.
Mom, Dad, what a surprise! We just dropped by to pick up your
rent check.
Oh, I'm running a little short this month.
Not everything works as smoothly as Shelter's renter's policy. It helps cover stuff in case of fire, theft, and more.
Maybe I should just move back home. Don't you love me? Oh, of course.
But now your room's Dad's man cave.
Oh, man.
Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Call me, Wade Gilkey, in Fort Smith.
Smith.
Or call me Jim Malum in Charleston.
If football is being played, TGI Fridays in Fort Smith is the place to watch and enjoy, no matter the day of the week or time of the day. TGI Fridays has the game on and all your favorite beers, drinks, and appetizers, including $2 draft beers, $5 pitchers, and $3 specialty drinks, plus delicious appetizers like loaded cheese fries, boneless wings, skillet queso, and lots more for only $5. Football, food, and fun all day long. If it's game day, it's TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
This is ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Back to October of 2012. They're going to run and get that boot. They're going across the field. That's theirs now.
The city's going to come unglued.
Halftime brought to you by Breeden RV in Van Buren. The year-end clearance sale continues right now. They'll take that holiday stress away with a new used RV and make it easy for you because you can pick your deal right now at Breeden. They'll either pay your sales tax, go 6 months, no payments, get you holiday cash back, or give you more for your trade. You can go to BreedenRVs.com for more information. Visit them at Alma Highway in Van Buren. And, of course, at Breeden RV, every new RV comes with exclusive free maintenance for life. Jeff Traylor will not be returning to Arkansas. He is taking over the UTSA Roadrunners football program. So you're going to be looking for a new running backs coach under Sam Pittman, and also some interesting provisions apparently in Pittman's contract, which got to give some props to our friend Nikki Chavanel, who we definitely have to have on tomorrow. Nikki, of course, covers Arkansas athletics at Rivals, and here's what Pittman's contract says. 5-year contract, $3 million per year. There are incentives. 6 wins gets him $250,000. 1 more victory, wins 7 games, $500,000, and an 8-win season will get Sam Pittman $750,000. So there's a $500 difference between winning 6 and 8 games, and all of the normal sort of incentives to go to the college football playoff, to win the championship, to be SEC Coach of the Year, graduation rates and stuff like that. And then there are some other interesting pieces that involve termination for convenience by the university. And this also seems to be kind of, I don't know if you could say incentive-laden, but the agreement, this is right out of the contract, in the event the UA terminates your employment for convenience and subject to your affirmative duty of mitigation after January 1st, 2022. So this is if he is let go after January 1, 2022. The agreement includes a provision that he'll make 3/4 of his contract. So he'd make 75% of the remaining annual compensation from the effective date of termination. And if that's after the termination, if the termination occurs after New Year's Day 2022. Now, if his record is sub 500, if there are more losses than wins, then he gets 50% of the remaining compensation on the contract. So I guess you could say that that sounds like an incentive to win more games than you lose if they do let you go. And then, of course, if you make a bowl game, you're right. You make the bowl game, then there's another year that's tacked on to the contract. And if you make a second bowl game, you get another year tacked onto the contract. So these are pretty good incentives.
And Harry Yurchek was talking about forming a contract like this, and he said, I believe that he didn't think they could be the first one in college football to do something, but at least it seems like, based on the contract information you just read from Nikki, that they're moving a step in the right direction, because you don't want to be in a situation where you have to pay a guy a massive buyout or something. And it seems like, I don't think it's too far out in left field to say this contract is incentive laden based on what we've read. Like, it is. Like, you win football games, you get more money, you get more bonus, and if you lose, and you lose a lot, then your buyout's not going to be as big. I mean, that's exactly what I think incentive laden is, and I think hopefully that will become a trend in collegiate sports. I know that coaches and agents don't want that, because then they'll be making less money, but at least as a start. And I think that and I don't know, who is the woman that is his agent down there in Little Rock that we mentioned? What's her name again?
Her last name is Henry, and
yeah,
I've already forgotten her first name. I should have written it down.
And like you said, it's good that they're not having to deal with Jimmy Sexton anymore, at least as far as their head coach of the basketball or football program. But I think that Sam Pittman, in a way, wants to prove himself, and that and I don't know how much he was involved when it comes to the contract negotiations, because that's typically more on the agency side of things. But I think he would be okay with it based on the fact that he wants to show that he could be a good collegiate head coach. Will that happen? Will it come up being correct? I don't know. I can't see into the future. But I think that you like the idea of a coach betting on himself concerning his contract obligations, Phil.
877-377-6963 is the Cherokee Casino hotline. Calls and texts up till 2 o'clock. Don't forget, we'll carry the full press conference in its entirety up on the hill starting at 3:30. So you know who's got it easy today? Ruskin and Zach have it easy today because they don't have to do. They literally don't have that much of a show to do, because I imagine that press conference is going to go for a while. Will he be wearing shoes during the press conference? Didn't this is something I heard John talking about and Clay talking about on the Morning Rush, that when Pittman was at Arkansas, when he spoke to the media, or at least was in a press conference situation after games, he would remove his shoes.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. Why not? Cool those puppies down.
He came in and sat down. Clay was talking about on the Morning Rush how he would sit in the chair next to him, because this is like they would do in the film room, and they'd have these chairs that like people could sit in and stuff. It was kind of funny, and I remember because I was in college at the time, and I think that would have been sophomore, junior year when I'm interviewing this guy, and most of the time I didn't ask me questions. I would just kind of let Clay, Dudley, and everyone else do that because I was a young quote-unquote reporter at the time. But it was a very interesting dynamic, the fact that he was the only coach most of the time. I think Rory Seagrass might have done it sometimes, but that was his staple. That was his signature, Phil, that he continuously do that. I'm wondering if he'll do that as the head coach.
Sometimes, Ty, I'm doing this show and I'm not wearing shoes or socks either. It's just nobody knows it.
Or pants or boxers.
You don't have to have clothing on to do a radio show. Yeah. You do have to have clothing on to do a press conference. And so this is one of the reasons I like radio a little bit more. 877-377-6963, Cherokee Casino hotline. I love this text from, is this Kevin? Kevin in Alma said that, first he gets onto the idea of Lincoln Riley and his success at Oklahoma. Don't worry about the first-year head coach. But he also said he loves listening to the show and loves you, Ty, with the exception that you drink Natty-Days, because he says it tastes like battery acid. So hey, it's okay.
To each your own, I guess.
To each his or her own. That's exactly right. Justin says, with Pittman, Arkansas fixed the line of scrimmage. You got to fix the DC and quarterback positions. Wants to see Rhett Lashley as the offensive coordinator. Runs pretty much the same offense. Not sure how good of a QB developer he is. So I imagine this is, it's the toughest job on the upcoming coaching staff. It's the offensive line coach, because I don't think Sam Pittman will be the offensive line coach and the head coach. So whomever is the O-line coach, you got Sam Pittman looking over your shoulder, so you better do him good.
I always found that interesting as a head coach with the background in a specific, whether it was the quarterbacks, whether it's the offensive line, the wide receivers, the running backs, whatever the position, defense, like how much more pressure is on that specific assistant based on the fact that the head coach coached that for all these years. I mean, the added pressure, I think, would be a lot more, right? Whoever that offensive line coach is going to be, because this is one of the more elites, if not the most elite, offensive line coaches in college football. So you have that constant weighing, constant fear of this guy's paying attention to every single one of my moves when it comes to this, because he's one of the best.
Well, if the offensive line performs the way it has the last couple of years, you'll end up with a revolving door at that position. But this is one reason that this hire does resonate to me in some ways, because if the one thing that Chad Morris never could do in the 2 years at Arkansas, look, he built you what looked like a decent running back room. You got a set of good wide receivers, good tight ends, quarterback play and offensive line were the two biggest problems, and he was supposed to be someone that could help with quarterbacks, and it felt like the offensive line was a bit of an afterthought. It's not going to be an afterthought right now, and I think that's the same on the other side of the football, where if you're an offensive line coach, you certainly expect that you're going to have a defense that can win the line of scrimmage.
And I think what you're talking about is Morris really tried to build outside in at Arkansas in terms of the skill position players and how he was trying to go about it. It looks like that Sam Pittman is going to do the opposite. He's going to build the trenches first, which Arkansas has been depleted there the last couple years, and that's really what you need to focus on, I think, if you're the head coach of this football program, because with his background, it seems like just from that specific perspective, it's going to be a much better fit. The fact that he has so many guys on his resume that he can point to and say, hey, look what I did for this guy, first rounder. Look what I did with this guy, second rounder. I mean, that's got to be a calling for it. And I'm narrowing this down to the offensive line standpoint, Phil, because that's been his kind of calling card for the last few years, as he's typically been that coach.
Aaron in Clarksville asks about, and he calls him Boyd's coach. That's what everybody knows is Jeff Traylor. Now, Traylor's going to be the head coach at UTSA. It's just been announced. So I know he and Boyd have built an extremely close relationship. My guess is that Rakeem Boyd is on his way out, though there's no announcement about that. I would just imagine that'll be the case. Jeremiah in Cedarville wants to know if Barry Lunny Jr. is going to be back. And I know there had been talks that Lunny and I think Traylor were both told that they had jobs at Arkansas if they wanted them. And Traylor is obviously going to be a head coach now with the Roadrunners. I would assume that Barry Lunny Jr. does come back, but there's no announcement on that either. Rashawn in North Little Rock says people forget about Matt Luke. He was in charge of the Ole Miss offense under Hugh Freeze, and they beat Alabama twice. So do you think maybe you look at Matt Luke as a potential offensive coordinator in the same division from the school that he played for and was let go? I haven't seen any quotes coming from him about from Matt Luke on his departure from Ole Miss. Hey, by the way, 1 day left to enter the big giveaway at Branson Convention and Visitor Bureau. Also, hitthatline.com and ESPN Arkansas will get you 3 nights at the Branson Hilton, tickets to a Christmas show, North Pole Adventure, Shepherd of the Hills. You go to the Christmas Music Ferris Wheel Ride and the Branson Restaurant gift cards. Just go to hitthatline.com today and tomorrow. You can enter just 2 more times. Got to be 21 or older to do it. 877-377-6963. Halftime continues after this break.
Listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson. Follow them on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP and at Ty Sports Radio.
This holiday season, give your loved ones the best present a sports fan can get. An excuse to drink beer, eat wings, and watch games all day. Buy $25 in gift cards and pocket a $5 bonus to Buffalo Wild Wings for yourself. While you're being brilliant, ask us about our party menu. Don't miss the fun part, the party part. Be the host with the most and serve Buffalo Wild Wings while basking in the glory of nailing. 'Tis the season for wings and cheer.
Watch out! It's the sideline! The Jet! Touchdown, Arkansas!
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code. Lesson 42. This is how you say happy hour. It's happy hour. Let's go get some Bud Lights. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light. Crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer. Anheuser-Busch. St. Louis, Missouri.
Kevin Hickey Law has a great team of people who are dedicated to your legal cares. Kevin Hickey's law team is made up of experienced, caring individuals centered around divorce, child and custody, DHS matters, and more. Serving the Fort Smith area and Northwest Arkansas. Make the right decision. Call Kevin Hickey Law at 479-434-2414. And for Northwest Arkansas, 479-802-6560. Or the web at kevinhickeylaw.com, where our clients are our main priority from start to finish.
Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair is your one-stop shop for all repairs. Paintless Dent Repair, door dings, unsightly dents, and hail damage repair, all repaired to like new conditions. With over 1 million repaired vehicles with satisfied customers, Michael Littleton is the expert in paintless repair. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair, conveniently located 3 miles from the Arcoma exit off Highway 112. Or call 479-461-9764. Your #1 Arkansas fan.
As the world draws a little closer together during the holidays, Gary's Body Shop in Ozark sincerely wishes that your loved ones are safe this season and that the coming year will bring you and yours a full measure of success and happiness.
Okay, people, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., Santa's coming to town.
Rita Womack is now at Skin Deep Salon on Zero across from Burton Pools Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, 9 till 6, and wishes all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shops, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. They have locations in Fort Smith, Mayflower, Jonesboro, Pine Bluff, and Little Rock. Or you can find them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
This is ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts, we're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Adams with it at the 45. Adams skipping. Adams gets outside. Watch out. Hits the sideline. To Jet. Touchdown, Arkansas.
Big Monday here continues on Halftime. Phil Elson, Ty Richardson. We will be getting back to our normal guests and segments tomorrow, but the conversation about Sam Pittman will continue. 877-377-6963 is our Cherokee Casino hotline. Got about 25 minutes or so to get your calls and texts. And then, of course, 3:30, the press conference on the Hill carried live on this very radio station or website that you are listening to. You know what was interesting, Ty, is that Sam Pittman had blocked Arkansas Razorback football on Twitter. And they made light of that. The actual football Twitter account did. And now I'm imagining that this block probably occurred after he left Arkansas for Georgia. And Bret Bielema really just didn't have you got that 10-second segment, I think, ready to go. So I think we should play that here. And this is what Bret Bielema said after Pittman left for Georgia. And I think this is the reason, at least, maybe one of the reasons that Sam Pittman had blocked Arkansas football on the Twitter machine.
Sam's great. I've enjoyed my time with him, but, I helped his career quite a bit. I mean, he really wasn't a renowned offensive line guru until we got things rolling.
Pretty strong words from Bret Bielema back in 2015. Again, that audio's courtesy of the Pick Trail Nation. But
wow,
I mean,
how can you say I love the guy, but he's not a guru and wasn't a guru until I helped him?
That's just arrogance. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And I think that Sam Pittman has shown. I know it's easier to coach offensive linemen and recruit offensive linemen at Georgia, but I think he's shown as the number one recruiter in the SEC and the number 3 recruiter nationally, according to 24/7 Sports, that it wasn't just Bret Bielema that got the jump start and is the reason he was successful. And the fact that Bret Bielema is now just a defensive line coach for the Pats and that he's the head coach of Arkansas, it's really come full circle now. So I hope Sam's wife doesn't tweet out karma, though. That would not bode well, because that's what Jen Bielema did.
We should never see.
Don't do that.
Yeah, that hashtag should never come out involving Arkansas football ever again. So does that mean in a couple of years, when you leave this show to go start your own solo morning program on a big city radio station, that I can say the same thing and you'll unfollow me on Twitter?
What makes you think I'd want to do mornings?
Because maybe that's where the money lies.
That's fair. So
when you move back to Nashville to do the morning show that Bill King vacates, and I talk about, he's all right. I love Ty, but he really wasn't a sports talk guy until I helped his career out greatly. Does that mean does that earn me an unfollow from you?
I don't think that will.
Or a block?
I don't think our relationship will ever get to the point where I'll unfollow you. I'll be that petty and unfollow you on Twitter. Don't get me wrong. We're definitely going to fist fight one of these days.
I think you're shortchanging on just how petty I can be.
By the way, I text Bill. I'm actually going on the on with him tomorrow to talk about this.
Hold on a moment. Their tables are being turned.
Yeah,
you're going on one of our guest zone shows.
Flip the script. So it'll be right after my workouts. I'm going on with him at 8:30 tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. I'm just curious. As him being a national college football guy, what does he think about this hire? I text Mike Griffin, who covers the Georgia Bulldogs for is it AGC? Is it AJC?
AJC, Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Down there for, I think it's Dog Nation.
I think it's a paper that actually is made of paper still.
Yeah, and I think Dog Nation is their website. And I asked him, I was like, so what do you think about this? Obviously, Georgia fans are pretty crushed because he was really likable. He's done a tremendous job with their offensive line, but he thought it was kind of an odd hire. So I'm curious. I've seen some national takes, but as we get more to the week, I want Bill's take. I want some other people's take as far as what is the perception of this from a national perspective. What's the take? And again, I've read the riot act on this. If you go back to, I actually put on our Twitter feed at Thai Sports Radio, the fact that there's a lot of national people that love the Chad Morris hire. Well, we saw what that happened, Phil. Just because a lot of people like the hire doesn't mean it's going to pan out. And just because a lot of people hate the hire doesn't mean it can't pan out.
This is all very true. It's all very true. And from what I've read on some of the national writers that cover college football, the way they're looking at that is I think they're looking at it, I think this is the way that I'm looking at it, that the hire makes sense, but this is an extremely difficult job for anybody that takes this position. And you can't look to the examples of other first-time head coaches that are currently coaching that are even in the college football playoff. This is not Georgia and Kirby Smart, where you're inheriting a recruiting base that is as fertile as any other in the country. And, hey, Pittman's part of the reason that Georgia recruited so well for the last 3-4 years. Mm-hmm. But they're going to keep recruiting well because that's Georgia, and they just get players. They grow football players on trees there. It's not Ryan Day at Ohio State, where he'd worked behind Urban Meyer for a long time and inherited a national contender the moment he stepped into the job, and had the 3-game audition the year before when Meyer was handed the suspension. This is not Lincoln Riley and Oklahoma, where you're already the most dominant football program in the entire Big 12, have been for years, and continue that. This is not Dabo Swinney at Clemson. That's probably the closest that we're coming here to this comparison at Arkansas. But Clemson wasn't a broken program. Clemson actually went to bowl games the years leading up to Terry Bowden's firing, even went to a bowl game the year he was fired and Dabo took over as the interim head coach. This is not Dabo Swinney at Clemson, although you can draw the line to the fact that this is a position coach who takes over as the head coach. That, to me, is the one comparison between Dabo and Sam Pittman. But it's a whole different story. It's a much different story. You can't compare any of the other first-time head coaches that are at the tip of your tongue and at the top of your head with what is going on at Arkansas. This is a program rebuild. Those were programs that were, in the case of the national contenders, already built and had been built for years, or in the case of Clemson, they hadn't been burnt down for 2 or 3 years running, and you had to build it from the ground up again.
Yeah, I think a comparison I actually will hear out is Jeremy Pruitt at Tennessee. Butch Jones goes 4-8 that year and is fired, and Jeremy Pruitt has to come in. And I know they had a couple 8 or 9 win seasons prior to that, but that program looks like it was trending downwards instead of upwards. And now it looks like Jeremy Pruitt, I don't know if he's going to pan out in Knoxville, but it looks like based on how they finished the season that their future's looking a lot brighter than it initially was when they lost to Georgia State this year.
Can I just say I never thought I would see a bowl matchup with Tennessee versus Indiana?
Yeah, that's a very interesting one. Are you is Tom Allen going to be in Indiana after this year, Phil?
He just signed an extension, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. So
I thought I'd read where Arkansas tried to approach him, but he took the extension at Indiana, which, again, I mean, that's another thing. Look, Indiana is a bottom-of-the-barrel Big Ten program, have been for years. And the coach there said, no, thanks. I'm happy right here, where I'll get 8 wins this season, and they're giving me an extension because they haven't had 8 wins since Phil was in college 25 years ago.
Yeah. So I just – that's one of those things where you just got to – I don't really know as far as what that's entailing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not – I don't know. So.
Well, I mean, one area to look at this, too, is the reaction from Georgia, right? Kirby Smart says great things about Sam Pittman heading out, and obviously he knows he's got a big hole in his staff to to cover up now. The players and coaches there are they seem to be. I mean, everybody will understand if you leave for a head coaching position, but this is the kind of look. I mean, when Pittman left Arkansas, what happened? The program kind of the steadiness underneath it, which you thought you were building, it wasn't there, and that toughness and grit that I think you're expecting from Sam Pittman, you didn't necessarily have that in Bielema's last 2-3 years at Arkansas.
And I get this stat that needs to be read out that my buddy Aaron Rosenthal found is the fact that the team in 3 years of Sam Pittman gave up 36 sacks. The following year, they gave up 35 in 1 year, 3 years to 1. Austin Allen was sacked more than Brandon Allen was throughout the entirety of his career. That's a stellar stat that Sam Pittman can show not only quarterbacks across the country he's trying to recruit, but offensive linemen as well.
Well, it's an offensive-minded coach. You're going to have to get a great defensive coordinator as well because, I mean, we're talking a lot about Arkansas offense needing to be fixed. What really does need to be fixed? It's the entire team. It's both sides of the ball, offense, defense, no doubt. 877-377-6963 is the Cherokee Casino hotline. We are brought to you by our friends at Rhodes Chevrolet. Is it still Yes Vember, Ty, or is Yes Vember over?
Oh, Yes Vember is out the door, but they have so much going on right now. It's getting closer to Christmas time, and they have tons of deals. David Niels at Road Chevrolet is inviting you to take home a new car or truck at Road Chevy. Employee discount pricing for all, Phil. So you're not going to get a better deal than at Road Chevrolet right now.
Stay tuned. We'll close up shop. Cherry on the top of halftime after this break.
Shooters shoot. You're listening to Halftime.
What it's doing to me ain't a secret.
In the moment, who has your back? Do you know the name of your insurance agent? Does your agent know your name? Or would you call a 1-800 number that connects you with who? Another state? Another country? Get a local independent insurance agent with Auto Owners Insurance. Someone you can call when bad stuff happens. In the moment, get an agent who will protect you in that moment. Kohler & Green Insurance in Fort Smith. Just call 484-9888. And Kohler & Green Insurance in Van Buren. Call 474-9888 and online kohlergreen.com.
Is your home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a free weatherization program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, our crews will install measures that will save you money. The services provided through this program are absolutely free to qualifying homes. If you could benefit from free home weatherization improvements, call OG&E at 1-800-272-9741. That's 1-800-272-9741.
Do you hear that Coors Light being poured? It's the perfect temperature. How can I tell just based on the sound? I can't. But I can see that the mountain on the can is blue. And when the mountain is blue, your Coors Light is perfectly cold. Coors Light is cold lagered for a crisper taste, cold filtered for brightness and clarity, and cold packaged for peak refreshment. Doesn't that sound good? 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Dee's Family Restaurant of Alma at 39 Column Lane across from the water park is now open on Sundays. Breakfast is served all day, and our hot buffet is served from 11 to 8, 7 days a week. Our breakfast buffet is now served from 7 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. every day. All-you-can-eat steak Thursday night, cooked order prime rib Friday night, and a seafood buffet on Saturday night. We have a party room that'll seat 50 and plenty of parking. Call ahead, 632-1014.
Tired of all the broken promises and broken equipment at your current gym? The Fort Smith Athletic Club is the nicest and most well-equipped fitness and tennis club in the area with a state-of-the-art fitness center, Pilates, fitness classes, personal and group training, and the best tennis facilities in the region. 7 outdoor courts, 5 indoor courts, plus pickleball and racquetball courts, and free child care is included. The Fort Smith Athletic Club. Call 452-4031 for membership information. Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half price. And all beers on tap are half price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
December is trading time at Rath Auto Resources. Hi, folks. Larry Rath here with our last big promotion of the year. Trading time. With tax season just around the corner, we need your trade. So we're giving up to $3,300 above Kelley Blue Book value when you trade your old ride for a nicer, newer car from our Rath Road Ready inventory. We'll even buy your car. That extra money can go a long way toward helping you get more car or reducing your monthly payment. Plus, if you're one of those waiting on a tax refund, your wait is over. Ask one of our friendly, non-commissioned solution specialists how our TaxMax program can get you access to your money now. If you're keeping the car you have, let us get it ready for the new year with buy 3, get 1 free on all tires or a basic oil change for only $24.95 in our Meineke Car Care Center. Start driving better today with Arkansas's #1 rated and reviewed used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources, and the Meineke Car Care Center. 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price affects trade allowance.
This is ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
And off Hillis. Peyton Hillis being chased but will not be caught. 65-yard touchdown.
All of a sudden, the phone lines lit up for this last segment of halftime. It's when we usually do 3 up, 3 down. Good decision, Ty, to ixnay the 3 up, 3 down and get to the calls instead. So we got about 10 minutes to get your calls and texts in before we bid you adieu for the rest of the day. 877-377-6963. So let's see, who is first up? Steven in Colorado Springs. Steven, what's going on?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. First of all, just wanted to say, Ty, I know you're taking a lot of heat on Twitter right now, but I respect you for making your stand. I think everyone has their right to express their opinion, so I'm more of a wait-and-see type guy in coaching hires, but I like that you're taking a stand for yourself. So I just wanted to say I appreciate that. My main point today, though, was that I think, and this is apparently I pissed some people off the other day by saying that our basketball team should be far superior to our football team. But I'm gonna probably piss some more people off with this next point.
Well, you're just the most popular guy on the show today, aren't you, Steven, huh?
Yeah. I think that the university would be best served, our football program would be best served by trying to push Mizzou as our #1 rival. And I know it's going to make people mad, but LSU does not care about us. Texas A&M does not care about us. And Ole Miss, despite the Lane Kiffin stuff, still probably doesn't care about us near as much as their big rivals. So I think the university needs to push Mizzou as our big rival. I don't know how they do that exactly.
Well, they already try it, Steven. I mean, they've got the whole sponsorship with the Battle Line rivalry, so the university is trying to push the It isn't a rivalry until Arkansas wins a game against them, though.
That's true. They do have our number, as do, all of our other, quote-unquote rivals. But I was just wondering what you guys think about that. I think it would be by far the most reasonable. Mizzou doesn't play Kansas in any sports anymore, so they don't have a real rival that they play every year. And they're geographically too far away from, the South Carolinas and the Tennessees of the world for that really to be reasonable. So just wanted to see what you guys think about that, how you think the university could possibly push that. The Battle Line trophy is garbage. I realize that, but
well, hey, look, and I appreciate the call, Steven. I think rivalries take time to build. They have to be organic. They can be sponsored, but you can't start with the sponsorship and say, well, you share a state border, so then you're automatically rivals now that you play in the same league. Give it some time. Let Ty continue to make fun of Mizzou as much as he likes to, and once Arkansas starts winning some games against the Tigers after Thanksgiving, I think the rivalry will take some shape. But it's nothing that you can force, and right now it still feels like it's a little bit forced. But these things take some time. Arkansas, Texas also took a little bit of time. So, again, it felt like a little bit off topic, though, getting into Mizzou. But then, the other thing, too, it's like Missouri just hired an Arkansan as the head coach. They got Eli Drinkwitz, who, the more I think about this, the more it makes sense to me of perhaps Pittman being a better hire and maybe just a better fit than Drinkwitz would have been at Arkansas. I don't know much about Drinkwitz's career other than the fact that he's really young. He's been a head coach 1 year, and there's something about the experience that Pittman has throughout his career that just gives me the thought that potentially he might be the better coach to fully rebuild a program from the bottom up. But the fact you got an Arkansan now coaching Missouri, maybe that helps that rivalry a little bit.
Yeah, and I think if you look at what's happened with Mizzou with a couple players going there from Arkansas, Byers, Powell, Bannister, and others, that also heightens it up. And as an Arkansas guy who coached at Springdale, Alma, I think another stop or two in the state, you would think that his recruiting base, he's going to dip into Arkansas, if not more than Barry Odom. And I don't know if Pinkel got any guys out of there, but it looks like that's probably going to happen as well. So that's only going to raise tensions between Arkansas and Missouri when you have them going after Fayetteville, Northwest Arkansas kids, or just Arkansas kids in general, because that Arkansas wants to build a fence around the state, similar to a lot of other states that host collegiate programs, but with an Arkansas guy with connections, and he seems like he's liked. I can't tell you about the high school circuit if there's a lot of coaches that have disdain for him or anything, but it seems like that would be a guy that could go into certain high schools within the state of Arkansas and deliver a pretty powerful message, Phil.
Tyler in Little Rock loves the hire of Pittman, says he'll do great things for the football program, but he says it's also time to accept that Arkansas is a baseball school now. And, oh, by the way, it is how many days until February 14th? 67 days until baseball begins at Baum-Walker Stadium.
So it's
that's my baseball note for today.
Your baseball countdown. So it's funny you mentioned that because Phil and I think this was 2 weeks ago, were sitting in a bar on Dixon Street, and none other than Jack Kinley walks up to us.
That's right.
And he's wearing this Arkansas is a baseball school.
Yeah, the T-shirts that Ryan Folks put together.
Yeah, so I thought
seem to be selling like hotcakes.
Yeah.
If the hotcakes actually sell better than T-shirts.
Yeah, so that's something I think based on what the performance of the school now. Phil and I have talked about this, and it's pretty apparent that in the pecking order, and it's across the board like this in most colleges in the United States. It's football, basketball, baseball. But in terms of most recent success, there's no arguing that Arkansas is a baseball school based on what they have done lately. So props to Jack Kinley and folks for making the T-shirts. And again, I was just happy to meet him because he was my favorite player on this last year's squad. He's a cool dude. So.
Prime time, right? Well, here's the thing, too. What did we talk about with Jack more than anything? We talked a little bit about his career.
Prime time is whenever we play.
Best quote of all time.
Anytime he plays with the sunglasses on and the left-handed power stroke. But what was the conversation about? It was about who's going to be the football coach. After I was done with the women's basketball game Saturday, they're asking me. Mike Neighbor sat down at his press conference and says, "Do we have a coach yet?" Amber Shirey asked me the same thing, director of ops. I mean, there was a lot of tension on campus about this, especially over the weekend. You could really feel it.
Feel it, yeah.
You could feel that tension. And I think people were nervous that you were going to end up with a coach that had no experience, really not a lot of experience even in football coaching, for lack of a better term. Somebody that's been around maybe 10, 11 years. You got a guy who's been around almost 30 years in college coaching. So at least you got a little bit of a laurel to rest on there. Back to the Cherokee Casino hotline. Appreciate you holding Jack in Marble Falls. Jack, what's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm not going to give you a whole lot of props and stuff straight up. I'm just going to get right in my take. Here's the deal. Joey Freshwater, Mr. Lane Kiffin, he tried to play Arkansas, him and his agent, Sexton, did, for more money, and then tried to come back and get back at us to try to come back. My props are to Hunter Yurachek for not playing that game. He has been said that he isn't into these big buyouts, and he isn't into this whole, we got to pay someone $10 million whenever they leave. He put in a contract where he gives them more money whenever they win bowl games, and that's the thing to do. That sets a standard for everyone else, in my opinion. And I don't know what y'all's take is on that, but I'm giving big props to Hunter Yurachek for not taking it from Mike Sexton.
Hey, I appreciate the call, Jack. And one of the things that Yurachek, I know, has talked about is that he'd like to get these buyouts out of the contracts, but there are buyouts in this contract both ways. I don't know how it compares to some of the other buyouts, but if Pittman is let go through Arkansas's convenience, then at the end, after New Year's Day 2022, he'll get 75% of the remaining compensation. But if his record is sub 500, then he gets 50% of the compensation. So there, to me, seems like a little bit of a change in the buyout structure because, I mean, look, as I understand, Chad Morris didn't have anything like that in his contract, and his record wasn't even at 300. Wasn't even at winning 30% or 25% of his games.
And Phil, with what you're talking about, it's not going to be a snap of the fingers. This is how things work around the University of Arkansas when it comes to buyout. It's going to be a slow process because Arkansas cannot be the standalone when it comes to this. Like you just can't do that. But if an AD sees how this contract is laid out and agents and then start trending in that direction, you can at least say that Arkansas was the first, if not one of the first, that started trending this way because you're having to deal with two contracts, both of Bret Bielema, who you're gonna be taking to court, and then with Chad Morris with his buyout, it's costing you big dollars, and you're not getting anything in return because they're no longer your coach, so you're getting screwed over in terms. You signed the contract, so it's not like, but that's just how it is. So you have to hope that this is the direction we're going, not only for Arkansas but collegiate athletics in general, because it's incentive based. We're based on incentives. If we suck as a show, Tommy will fire us. It's as simple as that.
To the other thing that Jack got to there quickly, if the reports are true that Lane Kiffin accepted an offer from Arkansas on Wednesday and then got what he thought was a better offer from Ole Miss the next day and rescinded, but went back to Yurachek and said, this is what they've come with. Even though I've already agreed to this contract, I need something more. If that's the case, and all the talk about Kiffin being a different person than before, maybe that isn't necessarily the case. This will be really interesting to follow for a long, long time now. It's been fun today. We'll be talking about it again tomorrow, so there's no doubt about that. For Ty, I'm Phil. Get up, get out, and get better.
Hog fans, we're coming home. Can't wait to get there. Go Hogs.
Year-end clearance sale continues. The holidays can be stressful. Why not take that stress away with the newer used